So we have been prompted with questions as far as the guest booking ability and things like that for folks that are not within the tool. Once you have gone and requested that guest booking ability from Kathy, there will be additional verbiage that will appear above these links in this section right above these tabs. On the left is say that you're administering travel for yourself or you, and then to the right will be a hyperlink that says book travel for a guest. Just be a matter of checking that box, putting in your search criteria, and then depending on what services you're requesting, it'll start to prompt you for that traveler's information. It does not retain that information, so you would have to provide that information each time if they were going to be a repeat traveler, but it does allow you to put in their frequent flyer numbers or guest stay numbers and things like that as you're going through the booking process. Yes, sir? Correct. No, you don't.
You know, we have some guests that come, they've already arranged how they're traveling, going to travel, and they just said, hey,
book this.
Book it.
Mm-hmm.
We can still do that using the information they send and go on here and plug all that in.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can recreate it. The more details you have and the more specific you are in your request, the more refined that detail is going to come back to you. So you do have the ability to specify an airline if you're looking specifically for set flights with a carrier. It does only allow you to specify one airline as far as a whole itinerary, but it'll do a more refined search and pull back more options for you. But yes, you can certainly do that.
We have international travel that they want to get, and they may have certain bookings that they want to make.
Right, and they're trying to tie them all together and things like that. No, I completely get you. Yeah, no, it lets you do that. You can go and look for specific flights on specific days at specific times and get as specific to it as you choose or need to. Okay.
We prefer for our guests to make their own arrangements. We can call Kathy and have her set them up as a guest.
The guests will not have access to be in here. There's a couple different options as far as the guest booking ability. If you would prefer for them to make their own arrangements, you might want to, you can email into our full service agents and say, hey, here's the guest that I want to travel. You could even give them a phone number and say, can you reach out to this person, and we can, make that more of a customer service pleasure to them, to where they're contacting me to make my arrangements. Are you available to make your travel arrangements at this time? And we'll fulfill the request. You say, hey, more or less, this is where they're going, this is when they need to be there, so we kind of know what guidelines we need to stay between, and then we'll contact them, make the travel arrangements, come back to you, say, hey, this is what they booked, this is what it cost, is it good to go? And you say yes, we'll process that reservation for you. So there's a couple different options with that aspect if you would prefer for that guest to make their selections. They just wouldn't be able to do so within the tool. There is an ability to share some schedules and things like that. So when I start going through the booking process, I'll show you how you can share those itinerary or flight options with them. They can make their selection. Then you can also maybe even share that with the online desk or a full service desk saying, hey, can you book this reservation for this person? Here's their details, kind of thing. So there's a couple of different avenues where we'll pretty much accommodate whatever your needs are. We're going to try to fulfill whatever request it is that you have. Yes, it will. Yeah. Correct, exactly. And and as soon as I get this information in there, I'll show you how that's going to work. So there's a couple of different tabs here. We have an air rail tab, a car tab, a hotel tab, another rail tab, specifically just Amtrak searches only. And then this last one here is a flight schedule. So if you wanted to check, on time, if there's any delays or anything like that, this information is as up to date as we have been advised. Not all instances are the airlines out there forthcoming with all of their delays right away, so it's as up to date as we have been informed within this section. But if I go back to this first tab, it'll let me do round trip, one-way, multi-destination reservations if I need be. Basically, I'm just going to plug in my information. You can start to type a city if you know not sure airport codes. For instance, with the Chicago area, with the 2 airports, it will let me shop both of those simultaneously if I want to, so I'm not having to look at one, get prices, go and look at the other one, get prices. Then I can go and put my destination city. I'm going to put Dallas Love Field just because I'm wanting to show you all how the Southwest content comes through, and then I'll end up moving forward with another carrier, but I want to show you how their information comes through because this is a little bit more unique than the other carriers in the system. Grab my departure dates. By default, the system selects your return date as the following day, so if it is same-day travel, you would need to be mindful and adjust that return date to the same day. The system will allow you to work whether it's based on departure time or arrival time. Maybe you know they need to be there by 10 a.m., but you have no clue as to how long it's going to take to get there from their destination. It will allow you to work backwards in that manner. And then this last box down here is basically how flexible is your traveler. By default, it's going to look 2 hours before and 2 hours after the time you specify. You can expand that to as great as 9, which would probably take care of most any flight schedule that's available on a particular day out there. So with just that information, ultimately it's going to do my airline or rail search depending on the routing that I'm taking. If I wanted to add a car, it's just a matter of checking this box, and it's going to default to the airport location that I'm traveling into. It does support off-airport locations, and it does support one-way rentals. So if that is a need, it can be done within the tool. It's just in this manner, since I'm booking it in combination of air, it's assuming I want that airport location. Finding an airport, finding a hotel, just a matter of checking the box, and then I get a couple, how do I want to look for this hotel options. It's going to go in there with the city center. I can put zip codes, I can put landmarks, and it'll try to locate them in that manner. I can actually type in the actual address, and it'll look for it. If you have the conference address, no clue as to what's in the surrounding areas, it'll let you search in that manner. The airport you're traveling into, and then company location. Since there's no locations in Dallas Love Field, they're not going to populate. But however, if you're bringing somebody into like the Chicago area or something like that, then whatever locations, university campuses are associated with that destination would present themselves as an option to shop for that hotel. I'm going to go ahead and grab the airport. And then lastly, you have the ability to shop by schedule or by price. Most people, time is money. Schedules are important to them. It's probably the more commonly used option, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and move forward with. You do have the ability to toggle back and forth between schedule and price once you've gotten into the tool. I don't know if you noticed, but briefly on there it said checking your profile. If I had not had a completed profile, whether I was the arranger or the traveler, the system would automatically redirect you to that profile in question, have you address the required or missing required elements. The moment you hit save and everything was required was filled in, it would drop you right back on this screen. So you wouldn't have to go back and re-put in all your search criteria and have to start your information all over again. There's some information here, or links at the top, in regards to air policy. If you were to click on this link, it won't take you out of the tool. It'll just take you to that portion of that on OBFS, and then you can go right back into the tool, pick up right where you left off if you had questions. This matrix here on the top is a live filter. Scroll down a little bit so you can see this. So if I were to select Southwest Airlines, it's going to remove all of the other carriers and only show me the Southwest options. Or if I only wanted to see the Delta options, or vice versa, there's the United, the one-stop options, non-stop options, then the one-stop options. So however you filter it is how it's going to be displayed on the screen. One of the neat functions on here is maybe you only want to show the Southwest options to them. Hey, what Southwest options are on this day? I have no really idea what the schedules are. You can select that, and you can print email this information right from the screen. Here's your outbound flight options on this particular date on that time that you specified. You can go and look at your returns, select your return flights, select the carrier, print email, and then here's all your return flight options on that specific carrier if you'd like. It's really going to capture the information however you have it displayed on the screen. So if you wanted to go and switch it back over to shop by fares, where it's going to do your price comparison as you mentioned earlier, here's the cheapest option that's available based on the time frame you specified. Here's all the other options that are available. You choose the one that works for you. With this yellow and green behavior, green being the best cost option for the time frame specified, the yellow ones are available to you as well, but if you select them, it's just going to say, hey, you didn't take the cheapest option that was out there. Could you give us a little information as to why? Was it an inflexible schedule? Was it a specific carrier? You just, no right or wrong answer. You just answer with which is best applicable to that traveler at that time for that itinerary, and you hit save, and it'll allow you to proceed. You're actually going to see that because I'm going to take one of these yellow options on Delta in the end. But with the Southwest, when I select on fares, it's going to give me the one-way getaway, anytime, business select, just as you would see on southwest.com. So there's no difference, variance. It's exactly as you would see it on their website. You select the ones you need, and it's going to adjust based on the rules and things of the fare. Then when you find, select the options you want, select, and it'll move forward. Because Southwest is a instant purchase or type carrier, they're going to try to validate the credit card I have in here, which is not a real one. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a carrier that's not going to pose me problems throughout the booking process. So I'm going to grab this Delta option here just to move forward. Actually, I'll grab this one. What I wanted to show is on this one, I actually grabbed the option that was going out of one airport and returning to another one. Maybe I wasn't even aware that I did that. The system's going to let me know, hey, you're returning to a different airport that you're taking out of. Are you sure you want to do this? And gives you the options to back out, look at another option, or say, yeah, no, that's what I intended to do. Okay, and proceed. I'm just going to go ahead and say okay. Now here is where I need to answer my question, letting me know, hey, you didn't choose the lowest option available. Which of these options best describe why you chose that option? Like I said, no wrong or right answer. You choose the one that best applies once you've selected it from the dropdown, which it is a requirement to select something from the dropdown. It does give you the ability to free text just below if you want to further explain why you made that option. Maybe what you selected doesn't quite meet your requirements for justification. You're free to type in there whatever you'd like. It is not required that you type anything in this box. You're only required to select something from the dropdown. Once you've made your selection, we hit save. Now it's going to come to a review and reserve screen. So it's going to show the flights that we've made or requested. It's going to show our traveler information, the contact details that it pulled from the profile. Had I had a program number in my profile, it would be reflected here. Maybe I do have a program number, but it's not in my profile. I can add a program, then it will add it to my profile for future reservations, so I won't have to be prompted to add it again. It would just associate itself. You do have the ability to make seat selections, or if you don't make a seat selection, Concur will request one for you based on the preference within the profile. Really nice functionality. It is geared to look for specific preference though. So my personal opinion, I believe the default don't care is best, and I will explain why. The system's going to start with looking at aisles and window seats first. Not one over the other, but it's going to look at those two seating preferences first before the system's going to go and just grab a center seat. In the event there are only center seats available, I highly encourage you to grab the less desirable center seat. You can make a mention to us at the end of the booking process of your displeasure with that center seat, and we can see about finding an alternate seating assignment. But it's best to have something in there versus bypassing any seating assignment altogether. The first people to get bumped off of the aircraft are those that do not have confirmed seating assignments. So it might be better to be stuck between two people than to be stuck at the gate watching the plane go without you. There are some things that we can do for you in regards to seats throughout the process. So if there is displeasure with the seating assignments that are available or what you're able to confirm, you can put in the comments to agent, please get me out of the center seat. Anything you can do is great. We do have leverage with some of the carriers where we can unblock some of those seats. Even the ones that generally would cost the public a fee, we can block at no charge. So where we can accommodate that, we will pass that on to you at no additional charge. Right, yeah, if say exit rows, the exit row seats will appear on there. For maybe you try to select it and it does not allow you to secure the exit row, just make that in the comments. Please get me an exit row on the flight out of Chicago or the flight into Dallas or whatever flight situation it is, and then we'll go and we'll try to accommodate that request for you.
So if you have someone that's like executive platinum on an airline, they can almost always change their seat to exactly what they want.
Right.
So you would still suggest booking it, and then would you have as much pull as they would have? Or?
We may even have more depending on their status. Ultimately,
Executive platinum?
well, their status on most cases are taken into account. So if they do have status with the carrier and that information is being transmitted, it should automatically built in. Now, if the system says that you can't get it or whatever, just make note of it. Say, hey, his status should permit him to get this seat, and then we can go in and try to fulfill that seat request behind the scenes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Do we know when there's an additional charge for a seat change?
Do processing and requesting it through us, we're not going to charge you an additional fee as far as in that sense. If there's a cost associated with the seat, when we're unblocking them, there's not any fees associated with it. It was because of our relationship with those vendors, we have pretty good pull with them in regards to that, so we can unblock those paid seats for no additional charge with our agreement with the airline. All right, so here is where if I had the profile card or the traveler had their T card in their profile, you would select it. If you were booking on their behalf and you had the T card, you would do the add a credit card, plug it in, complete the booking, and then go immediately into their profile and delete it so that it did not stay housed in their profile, but allow you to complete the booking process. I'm going to go ahead and select my profile card. And then it's going to let me know the rules and restrictions of the airfare that I'm reserving. A non-refundable ticket, in most cases they have penalties and things like that if you need to change the reservation. It's up to you to, just validate you acknowledge those rules and restrictions before reserving the flights. When I reserve flight and continue reserving your flights, one of my favorite aspects of Concur versus some of the other online booking tools where you go through, you're building your itinerary, you spend 15, 20 minutes looking for all the flights, putting the perfect trip together, you go to purchase it and it goes up, the airfare is $40 more than what you originally saw. Not going to happen here. If there's an issue when you're reserving that flight, it will let you know immediately when you reserve that flight. It'll come up with an error message saying, hey, we weren't able to grab that flight at the fare you selected. You might want to try again. You're not going to get to the end of the booking process and find out that it's changed. We're securing that inventory for that airfare that you were just quoted real time behind the scenes.